Oh, hey, folks. Rusty Westfall here. You know, we all have our happy places in life. For some people, it might be shopping in stores or in a mall. Some people, it might be at a pond with a fishing pole in their hand or maybe on a boat on some lake, and that never sounds like a bad idea. Hell, even some people's happy place is sitting up in a tree stand for hours out in the middle of nowhere with a gun in their hand. But as for me, this is my happy place. Hanging out at a Mexican restaurant where I have access to unlimited chips and salsa and great tunes. You see, for over 2 decades, I have worked, I have learned, and I have mastered the final expense market. And over the years, I've become known as the professor of final expense. Well, on the personal side of my life, I've been eating Mexican food like it was going out of style since I was a little kid. And so for those who know me on a personal level, they call me the Burrito King. Now, when it comes to Mexican food, I love it all. And who doesn't like a great taco, right? But I personally think that tacos, they are way overrated because there's only so much that you can put on the little corn tortilla. Now, burritos, on the other hand, you can sure pack a lot of love inside of one of those guys. And what's even better than that is you can put a lot more love on top of it. So, where did all this passion for Mexican food and burritos come from anyway? And that would be my mother. My mother, Iris Gail Northam Westfall, she was born and raised in Artesia, New Mexico, where she grew up in a family that basically ate Mexican food on a daily basis. And her mother, my grandmother, Hotona Northam, she believed that the spicier the food, the better, which naturally that carried over to my mother's palate. Now don't get me wrong, I do love a little heat, but I do love being able to taste my food without my face melting off even more. So I will draw the line at too much spice. Anyways, I guess you could say that by the time I was in my early teens, Mexican or Spanish food, that started becoming my go-to food. And then by my early 20s, it's been my favorite cuisine ever since. And one thing about me is that I love trying new things, which is what life is all about. It's all about new experiences. And folks, if you are not trying new things, then you're just simply not living life, man. It's just that simple. Now, over the last 20 years that I've been working in the insurance industry, a good number of those years have been spent on the road, visiting all the different cities and states across the Midwest. And a little side note here, because I love Mexican food so much, early on in our relationship, my wife, Anna, God love her, she quickly got burnt out on it, like within the first 6 months of us dating. That's how much of a Mexican food junkie I am. So anytime I would travel out of town, I adopted this rule: when the husband is away, Mexican food is his play. And even when I would go back to the same cities that I've been to several times before, rarely would I go back to the same Mexican restaurant that I've already been to before. Now, in the last 10 years alone, I could not begin to tell you just how many different Mexican restaurants that I visited. But what I can tell you is that early on, I made it another rule that in every city that I would travel to, I would go to one of the top-rated joints in the area that I could find on Google or on Yelp, and I'd give them a whirl. Every restaurant that I visited, I started ordering their most popular burrito, and let me tell you something. You'd be surprised just how many different ways that you can present one of those beauties. So one day out of the blue, I thought it'd be a pretty fun idea to start documenting all these restaurants that I visited and start posting pictures of the burritos that I had, which is how the burrito photo album on my Facebook page got started. Until this day, every time I go to a new restaurant, I snap a picture of my burrito and I add it to this burrito album. Well, it didn't take very long before people would start commenting on these posts, asking me how I rated the burrito. And that's how I started rating them in the first place. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we got to where we are today. So, without further ado, here are the rules. First and foremost, my name is not Dave Portman, so there is no one-bite rule here, okay? Every restaurant that I visit, I'm going to order either their signature burrito, and if they don't have a signature burrito, then I'm going to order their most popular burrito. I will not give out my official rating until after I've eaten the entire burrito or until I'm full, whichever comes first. And folks, it's all about the flavor with me. Herbs, spices. Man, there needs to be a party in my mouth with every bite that I take. Now, each burrito, it's going to have its own rating on a scale of 1 to 10. But I'm also going to give an overall rating based on atmosphere and service. That's going to make up 25% of the rating. Chips and salsa, hello, that's going to make up 25% of the rating. And then the burrito, that's going to make up the remaining 50% of the overall rating. Now that you know my story and how all this works, now the fun part. Now it's time to start eating and reviewing. It's a tough job, folks, but somebody's got to do it, so it might as well be me. And if you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, and then share. And I'll see you all on the inside.